Hello, this is Linda White. She is my pastor's wife here at Crossroads Church in Mooresville, Indiana. I have known her for going on 13 years now, and she's been a valuable source in my life. So I chose her to do this interview with. Linda, our first question is, what is your definition of servant leadership, and how do you try to live that out?
Well, first of all, thank you for the honor of choosing me to be your interviewee. I appreciate it. And I think that my definition of servant leadership is the understanding that I'm nothing. And I've often I look at worldly mega figures, and sometimes by their attitudes, they seem so forgetful of the fact that without their fans, they're nothing, and although the people of God are not fans, I don't mean that, but I think the idea of realizing that I am nothing. I heard somebody say one time that if you're leading and you look and nobody is following you, all you're doing is taking a walk. And so I think about that with regard to leadership, that without people to serve, without people, to follow, I'm not really doing anything. So I think I need to remember that I am nothing. And I'm just, trying to be an instrument used by God, but in my own self, I'm nothing.
Wow, that's a really good answer. What are the character traits, habits, and skills necessary to be a servant leader in today's culture?
Well, I keep looking over here. If everybody's wondering, I'm trying to look at those questions because I feel like questions 2 and 3 are intertwined. So I'm going to try to be careful to answer just question number 2. The character traits, habits, and skills I feel in today's culture are open-mindedness to recognize that life is not the perfect bubble that I sort of look back and realize that I grew up in. I was maybe on the tail end of it a little bit, but I think that we have to remember that life is messy. And so you have to be willing to be accepting of people in where they're at, in their walk with Jesus Christ, in their desire, for a church, and that you have to realize that it's messy, and we have to be willing to be flexible and fluid and accepting of people and their baggage, and we have to be encouraging, and above all, I feel like we have to show the love of Jesus more so than ever. I'm referring to when I grew up. Leadership was a little different when I was growing up. It was a little more demanding and a little more decisive with regard to controlling people, maybe. And I feel like that we have to be careful in our culture today to be willing to work with people.
Good. And the third question is, what does leading like Jesus look like in our modern context?
Well, again, I'll try not to repeat what I said, but I think Jesus was very cognitive of the fact that people weren't perfect. And he was willing to get his hands dirty with people that the organized church perhaps was willing to set aside and say, they've gone too far, they're not good enough. But Jesus was willing to do that. He was willing to, take the people that weren't perfect and that had baggage and were messy. And he was willing to extend his love to them. And so I think that we have to be very careful to be loving and to let people know that there's room for them in a church. There's room for them in a relationship with Jesus, even if it doesn't look exactly like what my relationship might look like, or the person next to me. It may not look the same, but they're moving toward Jesus. And I think that now more than ever, that we have to be willing to be inviting to church and to the love of God.
Very good. Thank you.